comment,
and subscribe for more content.
Where's the notification bell?
It's to the right of you.
Oh.
What's up, guys? It's DK Wrestler here from a Funko Popcast, and in today's video, I'm going to be ranking every Pokemon Funko Pop. But before that happens, make sure you press that subscribe button for more content like this video in the future, and press the little bell beside it to be notified of when that future content gets released. But anyways, guys, let's check it out. So like I said, today's video, I'm going to be ranking every Pokemon Funko Pop that has been made so far using the Tiermaker website. Now, I do want to mention that as I'm recording this video, Emerald City Comic Con 2021 announcements have not been announced yet, so those pops won't be added to this list today. However, I do have all of the other Funko Pops, including the many variants of Pikachu, which I think the total count is either, 45 or 46 different Pokemon Funko Pops. Now, how I decided to rate each one from worst to best is based on the appraisal system that you used in Pokemon Go, which it will go from worst to best as in 0 star, 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, and then the best being 4 star. So anyways, let's go rank these Pokemon Pops.
Okay, so here we go, guys. This is every Funko Pop that has been made thus far in the Pokemon lineup, or at least I'm pretty sure it is. So without further ado, we might as well kick off this ranking by doing this. I think it's super easy to say that the Silver Metallic Pops deserve to be in the 0 star category. No one wanted them. This is not what we meant when we said we wanted shiny variants of Pokemon. So then to truly kick off, we might as well kick off with Mew, which I think Mew deserves to be right up in that 4 star category. The first ever flying stance Pokemon, and it's the first Pokemon Pop to actually have blue eyes instead of the regular black eyes, which is really, really cool, and people wanted Mew. Then we got the flocked variant of Mewtwo, which this is going to go into the 2 star category. I love the character of Mewtwo, but I think myself and a lot of people agree that it kind of doesn't make sense that we have a flocked variant of Mewtwo, although it is still a great character. Then we got ourselves here the 18-inch Pikachu, which this is also going to go into the 2 star category only because I'm not a fan of the larger pops, but it is cool that we have an 18-inch Pokemon Pop because it's almost accurate to the actual size of Pokemon. Then we got ourselves here the flocked variant of Vulpix, which I'm going to put this actually between Pikachu and Mewtwo here. I'm not really the biggest fan of Vulpix, but I do like it better than the 18-inch Pop because it's a 4-inch variant, but I like Mewtwo better than I like Vulpix, so I decided to put Vulpix right in between there. Moving on, we got the 10-inch variant of Bulbasaur, which I'm going to put this behind the Pikachu Pop here. I'm not really the biggest fan of Bulbasaur. I know there's people that probably are huge fans of Bulbasaur, but personally, I was never really the biggest fan of Bulbasaur, so it's going to go behind the 18-inch Pikachu in the 2 star category. Then we got ourselves the 10-inch variant of Pikachu, which this is going to go between Vulpix and the 18-inch Pikachu due to the fact that I think it's more accurate to the actual size of what they build Pikachu as. Then we got ourselves the flocked Growlithe, which I think this is going to go to 3 star category. The colors look so cool when it's flocked. It makes it more darker and kind of more vibrant. So I think that the Growlithe flocked pop looks really, really nice and deserves to be in the 3 star category. Then we got ourselves the Flareon pop for the Evolutions, which this is going to go right at the beginning of the 2 star list. I'm not really the biggest fan of Flareon, but I do think it's better than the flocked Mewtwo and the other pops we've seen so far in the 2 star category. Then we got ourselves Vaporeon, which this is going to go right into that 4 star category, but behind Mew because I do like Vaporeon. The design of Vaporeon looks awesome with the detail, and I do think it is the best evolution pop. A little spoiler there for the next one there. But there's something about that Mew pop that just stands out to me the most compared to that Vaporeon pop to be a little better than the Vaporeon. Then we got ourselves Jolteon, which this is going to go to the 1 star category. There's just something really off about Jolteon's Funko Pop. I don't exactly know what it is though. I don't know if it's because the eyes are supposed to be different. It just looks so awkward. If you guys have a theory of why it looks awkward, and I know a lot of you guys think this pop looks awkward, comment in the comment section below. It'd be greatly appreciated. Then we got the ECCC Flocked Bulbasaur, which this is going to go right behind that Jolteon. It just doesn't really make sense for there to be a Flocked Bulbasaur. Of course, it's a starter Pokemon, and Funko knows it's going to sell, so they made him Flocked, but I just didn't think it makes sense. At least it's cool that we have a Jolteon pop. Then we got the Flocked Pichu, which this is going to go right into the 3-star category in front of Growlithe. The colors on Pichu look really, really nice. I love that they made a Gen 2 Pokemon because this is the only Gen 2 Pokemon as of this recording. So it's really cool that we're getting Gen 2 pops for Pokemon instead of always Gen 1, although Gen 1 is pretty much the superior generation as terms to Pokemon and what people really want. Then we got the original Target exclusive Pikachu, the very first Funko Pop in the Pokemon lineup, which this is going to go right in front of Flocked Pichu in that 3-star category, if this will work. There we go. Boom. It's mainly because of nostalgia factor, because it is the first ever Pokemon Funko Pop, and that Pikachu looks so great, honestly. It is such a cool looking pop, and of course that is the start of many other Pikachu pops we're going to be going through. Then we got ourselves Psyduck, which is one of the newer pops, which I am putting this right in front of Vulpix. Reason being, I find this to be a very overrated pop. The Pokemon isn't overrated. The Pokemon is super popular and everyone loves Psyduck, but I wish there was something more that they did with this pop. But I just feel it's a little plain, and it definitely deserves, as terms to the actual Pokemon, to be farther up on this list. It's just the overall design is a little bland and boring in my opinion. Then we got ourselves the original Eevee pop, which this is going to go in between Mewtwo and Flareon. Looks really nice. I love the way that this Eevee looks. A lot of people are huge fans of Eevee. Eevee is kind of like that secondary mascot behind Pikachu for Pokemon, so it's cool that they made Eevee, and of course the Eeveelution pops. Then we got the common Mewtwo, which this is going right at the beginning of 4-star. I cannot, with the life of me, find a flaw with this Mewtwo pop. I think it looks so awesome. They made the size comparison look great, even out of box, and just the stance alone and just the way it looks is just so unique compared to the other Pokemon pops. Then we got ourselves Mr. Mime, which I am actually going to be putting this in front of Flareon. There is something about this Mr. Mime that is so awesome in detail, and I find this to be such an underrated Funko Pop, honestly. A lot of people were complaining when this got announced with whatever wave it was. I think it was the same wave that we got that Mewtwo in. I find it to be so underrated, and not a lot of people appreciate how great this pop actually is. It definitely deserves to be in the 2-star category, in my opinion. Then we got ourselves Rattata, which this is going to go right in front of the Psyduck here. I also think this is a bit of an underrated pop as terms to detail. I think the detail with the mouth and everything looks really, really cool. I'm excited to see a possible Raticate pop in the future to see how that pop turns out. Then we got ourselves the normal 4-inch Cubone, which this is going to go into 3-star in between the Flocked Pichu and the Growlithe that's Flocked. Cubone is a underrated popular character. I don't think it gets enough love as it should. The way that the colors are applicated on this pop are really, really nice, especially that brown color. Then we got ourselves the 4-inch Grumpy Pikachu, which this is actually going to go right at the end of the 2-star category. Even though that most likely for this list, all of the bigger size pops are going to be in the 2-star category. A little spoiler alert there. It's just, we're kind of sick of these Pikachu variants, and I'm not a fan of how this Grumpy Pikachu had turned out, in my opinion. I just don't think it was needed, honestly. Then we got ourselves Bulbasaur, the normal 4-inch variant, which this is going to go... I'm going to put this between Flocked Mewtwo and Rattata. Obviously, Bulbasaur is a popular character. It's a starter Pokemon of Gen 1, but I've never really been the biggest fan of Bulbasaur, to be honest. Like I think I already mentioned when I put the 10-inch variant on this list, but the detail's really nice on it. Then we got Squirtle, the normal 4-inch variant, which this is going to go in between Flareon and Eevee. The detail of Squirtle is really awesome. Water type is a super popular type when you start out playing Pokemon, and I think the way that they did Squirtle is really, really cool, but I do feel that the detail of Flareon is a little better. Then we got ourselves the Waving Pikachu that was released in 2019, which this is going to go in between Squirtle and Eevee. I love the way that this pop looks because you have the flappy ears, which is really, really cool, and it's like smiling more in my opinion than it does with the original one. But the fact is that we got another set of Pikachu Pikachu pops. I mean, this was actually, I think, the second Pikachu pop, so I would have been fine if they just made this one and then they made the Target variant, only because obviously this would have been the one to kind of make up for fans for making the first one a Target exclusive variant. Then we got ourselves the 10-inch Eevee, which I'm going to put this in between the 18-inch Pikachu and the 10-inch Bulbasaur. I'm a bit more of a fan of Eevee than I am of Bulbasaur. Then we got ourselves Meowth, which this is going to be right at the number 1 spot of the 4-star category. This pop is great. This is one of my most requested Pokemon to be made in pop form, and it's finally happening. I think the detail is so great on this, and even though that they couldn't do the white eyes with like the black stripe in between it, it's still great with just the black eyes, and I think they did a really great job with this. Then we got the 10-inch Mewtwo, which this is going to go right in between that flocked Vulpix and the 10-inch Pikachu, mainly because I do like Mewtwo better than Pikachu. So I thought, you know what, let's put Mewtwo, the 10-inch variant, right in front of the Pikachu. Then we got the normal variant of Pichu, which this is going to go, I'm going to put it right in front of the Waving Pikachu, just because this was the first Pichu pop. I do like the detail as terms to the paint applicant right on there more than I do the Pikachu pop. And then Squirtle, obviously there was a huge hype over Squirtle, so I think Squirtle definitely deserves to go in front of Pichu, but the Pichu pop is still cool. Then we got ourselves the Attack Stance Pikachu, one of the newest pops, which this is going to go right at the beginning of the 1-star category. I think this is a little underwhelming in my opinion. I don't think it was needed. They literally just made a body that kind of is on all fours and then like reused the Grumpy Pikachu head, but I do think it's a little better than the Jolteon. Then we got ourselves Raichu, which I'm going to put Raichu right in between Flocked Pichu and the original Pikachu. I've kind of always been a fan of Raichu better than Pikachu, just because the overall design of Raichu, in my opinion, looks better than Pikachu. Obviously, you have more colors like that orange. I think it just looks so cool, and especially his tail. But at the same time, it's that nostalgia factor of the original Pikachu that makes it ahead than the Raichu pop. Then we got the flocked variant of Charmander for Emerald City Comic Con, which this is going to go right into the 1-star category in front of Bulbasaur. I'm a bigger fan of Charmander than I am of Bulbasaur, but it doesn't make sense in my opinion to have a flocked Charmander, which is why it's at the 1-star category. Then we got the flocked variant of Eevee, which is WonderCon, which this is going to go right in front of the Pichu pop. Reason being, although I feel the colors are better with the flocked Pichu pop, which was also a WonderCon exclusive, is the overall hype from not only the Funko fanatics, but Pokemon fans in general. They probably like Eevee better than they like Pichu. So it was cool when they announced a flocked variant of Eevee, because I feel like a lot of people would rather want a flocked variant of Eevee than they would want the normal vinyl plastic common of Eevee. Then we got the flocked Grumpy Pikachu, which this is going to go right in front of the common one, just for the simple fact that it's flocked. Then we got ourselves the flocked variant of the original mold of Pikachu, which this is going to go right in front of the Target exclusive Pikachu, only because it's flocked. Essentially, I would even rate both of these kind of tied for that first place spot on the 3-star category, or 3-star so far, because we still got some Pokemon left to rate on this list. But I definitely think if I were to choose between the normal one and the flocked one, once again, it would be the flocked one, because Pikachu, being classified as a mouse, makes sense to be flocked. Then we got the 10-inch variant of Charmander, which this is going to go right in front of Eevee, in my opinion. Charmander is awesome in my opinion. I think it's my favorite starter Pokemon. But once again, I do feel like the Pikachu is a little better in my opinion in terms to the detail. Although the tip of the tail that has the fire on it is really, really cool added detail for Charmander. I just feel like more people obviously would want the Pikachu. Then we got ourselves flocked Squirtle, which this is going to go in between Jolteon and flocked Charmander. Although it doesn't make sense for Squirtle to be flocked, There have been times where there are turtles out there that actually have little tiny hairs on them, which kind of lets this pop get away with being flocked and farther ahead than the other flocked variants that we have in this 1-star category. Then we got ourselves the 10-inch variant of Squirtle. I'm going to put this right in front of Eevee. I think the detail is a little better with the Squirtle than with the Eevee, obviously because there's not much going on with Eevee. But once again, I think it's the fact that Charmander, I feel, is better than Squirtle, of why it's lower than Charmander on this 2-star rating. Then we got the 10-inch variant of Cubone, which this is going to go in between Squirtle and Eevee. The detail is better than Eevee in my opinion, but I feel like the popularity of Squirtle is more higher when talking about Pokemon than it would be with Cubone, which is why it's lower on that list. Then we got ourselves the Stance variant, I'm going to call it, of Eevee, which this is going to go right behind that 10-inch Bulbasaur. I'm not really a fan that they made another variant of Eevee, but I do think it looks better than those grumpy Pikachu variants. Then we got ourselves Ponyta, which this Ponyta is going to go into the 2-star category, but in between Rattata and Psyduck. I do think it's better than what the Psyduck looks like, but I feel like the detail is actually better with the Rattata than it is with the Ponyta, although Ponyta does have that fire look, which looks really, really cool. It just doesn't scream Ponyta to me. Then we got the 10-inch variant of Vulpix, which this is going to go right at the end of the 10-inch list. So in between the 10-inch Bulbasaur and the Stance Eevee. I've never really been the biggest fan of Vulpix, like I've probably mentioned before. So that's why it's at the end there. So I essentially think it's like the worst 10-inch just because of my own personal reaction. But the detail is really cool. Then we're going to move on to the normal 4-inch common Growlithe, which this is going to go right at the beginning of the 2-star list here of the ranking system, only because the flocked variant is better than the common variant. Then we got the normal 4-inch variant of Charmander, which this is going to go right in that 4-star category. I like the way that Charmander looks, but it's right at the bottom there because the detail I find is way better with the Meowth, the Mewtwo, the Mew, and the Vaporeon than the Charmander. I feel like those are a bit better. Then we got ourselves Vulpix, the 4-inch variant, which this is going to go right in front of the 10-inch variant of Mewtwo. I do think the flocked variant of Vulpix is better than the common, but I'd rather get this Vulpix than I would rather get any of the 10-inch variant pops and those Eevee and Pikachu pops.
Anyways, guys, that's going to be the end of today's video. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you smash that like button. Comment in the comment section below on if you agree or disagree with my rankings. And like I said earlier, press the subscribe button for more content like this video in the future, and press the little bell beside it to be notified of when that future content gets released. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching today's video, and hope to see you guys next time. 1, 2, 3, I'm out of here. Follow us on all of our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at A Funko Popcast. If you want to check out some of our other content that's featured on our channel, you can click either the playlist that's on your screen right now featuring previous episodes of our weekly podcast, A Funko Popcast, or we have suggested a video for you guys in relation to today's video.